Welcome back to Hey Kentucky. The NFL season is hopefully going to be starting soon. Rosters are being whittled down, and we've got one team that's got 3 Kentucky Wildcats on it, at least for now. We want to welcome in ESPN beat reporter Brooke Pryor. She covers the Steelers for ESPN. Hey, Brooke, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to talk about the Wildcats.
Well, first of all, Benny Snell, who's our all-time fave, came in looking a little slimmer once training camp started.
Yeah, he was at, I think, 224 is his weight listed on the roster. He's down to 212 now. And he said that was a really big focus of his offseason was the Steelers said, hey, you know what? We're going to put you on a plan. We want you to slim down. We want you to be able to have better lateral movement, more quickness, and to build his strength. And we've really seen that in the first couple days of training camp. He's ripped off a couple runs of 25 yards, 30 yards. And I think this weight loss, I mean, the Steelers like to see this transformation in their backs from the first year to the second year. And he's, right on schedule with what they like to see.
Obviously, James Conner is going to be the starter there, but do you see Benny as getting quite a few reps behind him?
Yeah, I think so. For James Conner, the biggest concern is durability, and he hasn't played a full 16-game season and at any point in his NFL career. So last year when he got hurt, Benny Snell was kind of the first guy up to take the bulk of the reps. And even though they have a pretty full running back room, I think Benny is the only guy behind James that has kind of the making of a 3-down back. So he's in a really good position from what I can see to step in and take a lot of those reps if James Conner were to go down. And whenever James Conner needs a break, I think Benny Snell is going to be kind of the top guy to step in there.
Defensively, you guys got a pretty good combo in TJ Watt and Bud Dupree. Of course, Bud from Kentucky. They put the franchise tag on him. Do you see Bud in Pittsburgh long term?
I think the biggest thing there is going to be cap space. The Steelers really, really like what he's been able to do. But there is the issue of, can they afford to keep him around? And they were able to manage the cap enough to tag him this year, to pay him, I think it's around $15 million this season, to preserve that tandem of Bud and TJ. And they work really well together. And they are kind of the cornerstone foundation of this defense, especially this year. But long term, they've still got a lot of money left on Ben Roethlisberger's contract. They've got guys to extend like Cam Hayward and Juju Smith-Schuster, and trying to juggle all of that while the cap could fall as low as $175 million. It's going to be really hard to keep Bud around, especially if he has another season like he did last year, he's going to be in line for a premium payday.
And all teams are going to kind of be facing that harsh reality that their cap is going to be lower. So even if you are a free agent, you might be struggling to find that big deal that you have earned.
Right, exactly. And I think that really stinks for Bud because they didn't really have the money or the flexibility, I think, this last offseason to give him a massive contract. So playing on a $15 million franchise tag is not bad. It's still a pretty significant amount of money, but I don't think that he's going to be able to get the premium next year that he would have gotten, over the summer if he were a free agent this past year, just because of the way that things work out. And that really stinks for him. I know the Steelers would like to keep him around if he took a team-friendly deal, but I think that there's going to be a lot of soul searching and a lot of really tough decisions for both him and the Steelers when that contract comes up again next year.
And finally, you got big Calvin Taylor there, 6'9". I think he's the biggest guy on the roster for right now. Do you expect him to stay on the roster when it's week 1?
I think it's going to be really tough for him to make the team, especially considering they didn't have regular OTAs. There wasn't the regular rookie minicamp. All of the work this offseason was virtual, which makes, for a young guy, for a rookie coming in, especially as an undrafted guy trying to make the roster, makes it that much more difficult. And that, it really stinks because there's a lot of guys that teams are able to find that are undrafted that make a big impression in training camp and in preseason. And when you consider that there's no preseason, that really takes away a huge opportunity for some of those guys. But there is, the practice squad. There are extended spots on the practice squad. So I could see him maybe falling to one of those.
Brooke Pryor, the beat writer for the Pittsburgh Steelers for ESPN. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, take care. More Hey Kentucky right after this.